pleasing everyone, even my seniors, even dad, even my leaders. But at one point, I thought if I keep pleasing people, then business won't happen.
See, you need to be a good listener to basically tell your point. When your dad listened to you or you listen to him, right? But sometimes there are points where you feel that you're also right, he feels he's right. How do you guys communicate? Do you do it in writing? Do you do it in what is the format of communication?
It's actually easier to get that.
Do you believe in AI? How are you going to integrate into your systems?
In terms of AI, doing the small baby steps in terms of technology, we had an opportunity where we could implement an AI software, nudging our customers who pay early. So this really improved our productivity. So I shifted to Ahmedabad for 18 months. That was like an experience that I really cherished. Learned the basics. So from sales to recruitment, I had to recruit people in, because I was just 21 years old. So that confidence didn't come in terms of leadership. All the leaders were like 40, 50 year old and they didn't find me that mature enough to sell finance. That happened. 18 months I stayed in Ahmedabad. Learned everything. COVID happened. In COVID, I learned only the sales part of things, and all sales were standstill. We couldn't do any sales.
Welcome back to the Last Laugh podcast. Starting from a journey as a first generation business owner and today reaching at IPO stage. I think few minutes back they have just rang the bell in the BAC. Yes, today I've got the director and the CBO of Manba Finance. Manba Finance एक ऐसी कंपनी है जो लोन और इंश्योरेंस सेक्टर में अपना बहुत अच्छा नाम कर चुकी है. They are one of the first movers who launched loan for 3-wheelers and specifically 2-wheelers. मैंने आज मोनिल के साथ बहुत ही ज़्यादा इंटरेस्टिंग डिस्कशन किया. We've talked about EV sector, we've talked about entrepreneurship and the most important question. Boss, जब आप second generation business owner हो, how difficult it is to manage your first generation and also the legacy of the brand which the first generation is carrying. हमने आज बहुत ही important discussion किया है for all the people who are in EV industry, they're going for their entrepreneurship journey and also all the second generation business owner जिन्होंने अपने family business या first generation को support किया. He's not just carrying forward the legacy, but he has scaled the business with lots of automation and mindset which has helped them to become one of the greatest player in this segment. I'm very sure when he throws the number, you guys will get goosebumps because his story is also very interesting. So guys, it's a humble request. We are closing towards our 20th episode and I require your support to get such great guests from our community to make sure that we transform the good founders to great. This is just going to happen because of you all. Subscribe me right now or else you'll regret later. Thank you for doing this, Monil, and welcome to the Last Laugh podcast. You have been a second generation entrepreneur, right? So my first question, very straightforward, because this is my personal experience. How do you convince your dad that, whatever mindset you have in the business, and they have, it's always, 180 degrees. And then you basically convince your dad that, hey, what I do is also right. What you do is also right. Let's work and collaborate together. So I want to know from you because you guys are at the moment of IPO and without, the son and dad's mingle, it is not possible.
Yes.
So yeah.
So first of all, thank you so much, Yash, to calling me up for this podcast. To answer your question, in business start में it was not very easy. We had a few fights here and there, but with time, patience रखा, हर चीज को समझने की कोशिश की, and we came to a common conclusion कि this is your job, doing business is your job, and doing other things is my job. And जब हम लोग ने वो समझ लिया, he kind of delegated things to me and gave me ownership कि अभी तू ये सब संभाल ले. It gave me it empowered me, and I think things got better.
Right.
Now at this moment, we have such a good relationship that he comes and convinces me for a few things, I convince him for a few things, and we come to a common standpoint. Plus, we have a very experienced team in Manba. That also kind of has a bridge over our conversations, and they give us the right way to do things.
So when do you do this conversation? During dinner table or during the office? Like how it is?
Yes. Mostly at lunch. We meet at lunch.
Okay.
We meet at breakfast and we meet at dinner. So all the 3 meals are together and we discuss about business and normal investments and what's happening, what is the dealer saying, and any kind of feedback about anything is discussed over.
So just a question. See, you need to be a good listener.
Yeah.
To basically tell your point. That's what I believe is, right? When your dad listened to you or you listen to him, right? But sometimes there are points where, you feel that you're also right. He feels he's right.
Yes.
How do you guys communicate? Do you do in writing? Do you do it in what is the format of communicating?
Maybe first, I think my strategy is give it time. You shouldn't keep arguing and putting your point repeatedly. Once you give it time, even they understand that I think there is something wrong, and we kind of have to come to a standpoint, to a middle point, and फिर सब अच्छा हो जाता है.
Amazing. Nice. So you basically don't argue. And
yes, I don't like to argue with dad. And, because I respect the fact that he has experience, and I don't want to argue on some points, and even he doesn't argue on some of my points.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So it's been 6 years in entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Let's start with mistakes. 11 mistakes or 10 mistakes. Or let's keep it very straightforward. 3 mistakes, right? What are the 3 mistakes you have done in entrepreneurship in last 6 years?
I think first mistake that I did was I was very aggressive in the start. मुझे लगा कि मुझे सब चीजों को जीतना है. गरम खून है. A lot of people were looking up to me. वो एक pressure से I wanted to over deliver. और वो over deliver करने के एक चाह में मैंने बहुत चीजें ऐसी की which in the hard way I had learned things. And loans बांटना easy है to bring back stuff. So उससे that was a mistake.
Okay.
Then I didn't give a lot of time for networking, and I didn't think that would be that important in the start of my career. But once I joined, I thought कि सबसे important वही है for our kind of business where we want to keep relationships with our clients, our OEMs, and तो वो एक मैंने नहीं किया था start में. And I think these are
right. So I believe, when I also started, right, you are so aggressive that, you want to, obviously because of your career, you vision your career in such a way that, I want to be successful. With times I realized when you talk about relationship, networking, very important. But I have a contradictory point of view also, where, there are people who are in your life, but they're just in your life because they want to get best out of you, right? So, they know that you're talented. They just want to basically use you in a sense that, hey, I know that I get all my resources from you. And in that way, sometimes networking, obviously it's a 2-coin thing, right?
Yeah.
Over networking or, saying yes to each and every opportunity is also wrong.
It's very wrong.
So you need to remove the toxic people.
And it wastes your time. It distracts you from all the important things.
You're out of focus. You're totally out of focus. So that is one of my major learnings in entrepreneurship. Second is you don't have to be like a pleasing person every time that, hey, you give me this, you give me that. You just say very, very business direct that, hey, this is what I want. If you can do it, great. If you cannot, please say no.
This is one thing that I learned after a few years. In the start, I was a kind of a yes man. I was pleasing everyone, even my seniors, even dad, even my leaders. But at one point, I thought if I keep pleasing people, then business won't happen.
Wow. So how did you train yourself? Let's talk about your journey now.
So
let's start from your education till now. Let's start from your journey.
So I did my bachelor's of business management studies in Ola, and then I did a master's program in London. Came back in 2018. Straight next day, I joined business. I always wanted to join business. I had an option if you wanted to do a job or an option of business. Straight joined business. The next day, we we had already thought that we wanted to open a branch outside of Mumbai. We were only present in Mumbai and a few cities in Maharashtra. So we always wanted to expand. And as I came in, that thought, this is the right time to get outside and we could get the right opportunities in terms of learning. So I shifted to Ahmedabad for 18 months. I used to live there for 5 days, come back 2 days. And that was like a experience that I really cherished. Learned the basics. So from sales to recruitment, there was no presence of Manba in Gujarat. So from there, I had to recruit people. People didn't find me because I was just 21 years old. Right. So that confidence didn't come in terms of dealerships. All the dealers were like 40, 50-year-old, and they didn't find me that mature enough to sell finance. And even when recruitment happened, it was not the most fast way of doing things. That happened. Then 18 months I stayed in Ahmedabad, learned everything. COVID happened. So in COVID, I learned only the sales part of things, and all sales were standstill. We couldn't do any sales for the next 3-4 months. And that was the time I really put myself in all other things, learning all other things. We had video calls daily about all the departments. And that's one time that I got to learn everything that worked in the company. After COVID, we started expanding outside Gujarat. And that was like the turning point of my career because I learned a lot of things in Gujarat and I wanted to apply all those things outside of the Gujarat and Maharashtra state. So we started Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh. Wow. Every state had a different kind of working. Every person I met was different in all the states.
Tell me about this. Within 6 years, I mean, last 4 years, when you talk about COVID, at least 2020 to 2024, how many cities and states are?
So we were present in Mumbai in 2017, only one city, and now we are present in 66 cities across 6 states.
Oh wow! Yeah. So because of Ahmedabad experience, you just learned the way to scale it and then you replicate everywhere.
I replicated it, and I got the right manpower at the right time. I invested in a lot of technology things that helped us to replicate that business in other cities.
Amazing. So there are 2 questions follow up on this.
Yes.
One is, do you really think your degree, your education is helping you in your business? One is that. Yeah. Second is, when you say that you were thrown into the business and you were just told that, hey, go and explore another city.
Yeah.
Right? So were you scared enough? Because you just said that, I was a 21-year-old kid and I had to convince all my stakeholders, which was very difficult, right? So every entrepreneur who's watching there, who's like a 21-year-old, 24 years old, they always face this, because I also face this the same, right? I mean, I am investing in companies. Yes. So I don't know, will a person believe at the other end when you're 24 or 25 years age, right? So want to understand how did you overcome this challenge, like both of this. So let's start with the
education. Yeah. I think education is very important. For me, not just in terms of the study material, but the exposure that I got to a lot of different industries when I traveled to London, when I did my IB in Mumbai. I got a lot of exposure to different kind of people and how they think, and that really helped me. The network really helped me. Even you need to know the fundamentals. Even if you think that without a degree you can do anything, you need to know the fundamentals. So the fundamentals are very important in any business, and that is there in the degree. Plus, for me, I have always been a very curious child. I wanted to learn a lot about different things. Every day I think about a new thing, and I want to get into the very deep things about the industry.
Right.
So that really helped me make my mind a little more curious.
Education I believe education has made you more mature.
Yeah.
Right? And because of that maturity, and this is why you should actually get education.
Yes.
Like, it is not because you'll get something like rocket science there.
Yes.
It's because it makes you mature.
One more example, if just for knowledge, I studied marketing as my master's degree. Then I took a very good course in Harvard online for 2 months for finance, because I never knew anything about finance, and I thought in COVID times I was free, so I wanted to learn something important. So that the basics of finance of that 2-month course is helping me today.
Wow.
Yeah. So education is very important.
Amazing. And let's go to the next.
The next question was...
The next question was like, while you were sent to Ahmedabad,
Yes.
right? And 21-year-old kid convincing every stakeholder.
So I think in the first few days I was not very confident about myself, because the dealers looked at me in a way and they actually asked me, how are you here? And you were so surprised that you were 21 years old.
Yeah.
How are you here? Why are you here? And are you really the director at Manba? And those kind of questions actually hit me. It was not very pleasing in the start. But eventually with work, I think I really worked hard at that time, and I used to really keep meeting people, keep making all my 200% efforts in everything. And those efforts actually showed all those dealers and all my employees that I'm worth something.
So give me a trick. You went to suppose I'm a 21-year-old kid and I'm coming to you was 45.
Yeah.
How am I going to convince you? How did you convince?
So I think whenever you go to a person, you should have knowledge and you should have something that he wants to listen. He doesn't want to listen about Manba or about anything that you have come here to talk about. So I always take this as my very important agenda, that I read about what is happening in the recent days, go there and talk about that first.
Amazing.
I set a context that अभी two-wheeler industry में ओला ने ये launch किया हुआ है, बहुत जबरदस्त किया है, talk about the colors, rates, ये वो, थोड़ा एक conversation में आने के बाद, I think then you start what you want to do.
Amazing.
So that is very important.
That is really amazing. So great insights.
Yes.
सौदी पहला I'm going to go check. सौदी पहला मैंने event चालू चला and very important बता माटे all the entrepreneurs and specifically for the people who are in the family business. એટલે ગુજરાતી ને મારવાડી માં એવું છે કે જ્યારે છોકરો family business માં join કરે, going back to the same topic, the mindset is very clear કે આને comfort zone થી પહેલા બહાર નીકાળો. કે આ એકદમ પડીને આવ્યો છે, we have happened enough. Now let's give him a reality. Okay? Give me one example જે અમદાવાદમાં તારે સાથે થયું છે.
I think similar plan થી મારા ડેડે બી મને અમદાવાદ છોડ્યું હતું કે તું જા, અને he has his way of saying કે હું એક સીમાં તને ફેંકી દઈશ અને તું પોતે જ સ્વિમિંગ શીખી જાય. તો એ હિસાબથી મેં મને ફેંકી દીધું હતું. એન્ડ ગુજરાતમાં એવા બહુ હાર્શ ઇન્સિડન્ટ્સ થયા હતા જેનાથી મને એવું લાગ્યું કે મતલબ એક રિયાલિટી ચેક આવ્યું કે વેર યુ આર એન્ડ there is a long way to go. તો એક આપણે એક એક્ઝામ્પલ એવું છે કે ડીલર, it was harsh heat, મતલબ 48 degrees plus.
Okay.
They don't use the air conditions in the showrooms outside. એ મને પૂરું એન્ડ સુધી બેસાડ્યું કે by throwing a waste, by waste. I waited there for an hour or two, still waited. In the end, I went there, okay, sir, please let me come in. She's like, I need to go home now. I cannot meet you. And I went, and I called my dad. I was like, Dad, where have you sent me? And like, what do these people think of themselves? And in frustration, how are you? But then I thought, yeah, it's okay. It's normal for them. It is a learning, and
did you convert that?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
That dealer is one of our top dealers right now.
Amazing.
Yeah. So we have a very good relationship.
Was the dealer also checking that this guy is going to stay or not?
I don't know if he knows this, but so all these big people don't even realize that there is a person who's outside.
Right.
And when I went through this, I really make sure that if someone's come to me, I always make a point to meet him and as soon as possible.
Wow. So thanks to your dad. So great. So humility. That's where we learn the chapter of humility. Coming back to something which is very important in as I know that you're handling more than 800 employees, right?
Yeah.
Across India, and sales is a very aggressive role, right? And usually it is coined that sales is a very toxic role. I understand the reason why it is said like that, but I want to understand from you, sales first is what is your philosophy? How is Manba making sure all the employees are really doing well?
Yeah.
And from an entrepreneur point of view, like how do you basically have that point where you think sometimes you think from brain and sometimes you think from heart? I hope you get it.
Yes.
Right. So I want to understand that chapter.
So in terms of philosophy, I think I follow the attract, convert, and engage in that report philosophy, where first we kind of attract all the dealerships and all the clients and all the customers in the business loan segment, and then we kind of engage, convert, and engage with them. We make sure that they are giving the best services, whatever is possible, and keep monitoring that we could cross-sell in the future.
Okay.
I have this philosophy that first you should listen to the customer, and customer is the main person where he decides what to do. And sales में वही चलता है जो customer को चाहिए, जो dealer को चाहिए. My plus point is also that मैं ground पे बहुत रहता हूँ. I keep traveling to a lot of branches. I understand what a customer wants. I don't sit in the cabin when I'm in the branch. I go out and talk to customers कि आपको real में क्या problem आ रही है. And I think those things bridge a gap. कभी-कभी ऐसा लगता है कि we keep pushing the salesman, and but sometimes the market is not working. Sometimes you are doing something wrong. वो कभी भी एक ऊपर के लेवल पे अपने को ऐसा लगेगा, but once you go down and you see what are the real challenges that our salesmen are actually undergoing, you know that this is very wrong, and you first have to clear all those problems, then push for sales. Yes, how do you do it?
Okay, so basically it's very easy in the online business. So basically we are in the online business world, right? So the same model, if I talk about, we definitely have a different terminologies, but when you go on attract, you said engage. So attract, convert, engage, and report. In online businesses, definitely, if you want to buy any product, you definitely do online advertisements, you do Meta ads, you do Google ads, you do so many things where you attract the customers so that get the eyeballs. Maybe this podcast is also one part of attraction.
Yes.
And we make sure that whenever we, attract the customer, we are not giving over-promising and under-delivering. We are definitely at that point, we are under-promising and over-delivering. Then it comes to something very easy, which you told is when the conversion comes in, because the customers are now going to be really happy, they are converted. After in the onboarding process or in the conversion process, right, we make sure, the clarity of mindset is very important. We clearly tell them all the terms and conditions. We tell them that there's no hidden clause, right? Yeah, hidden charges and everything. We definitely tell them that, hey, this is what we are going to work for and this is what we will charge. Third is very important, that is engage, which you told. We give many offers, or we give something which is out of if our promise, let's say 4 calls in a day, 4 hours in a week, right? Yeah. I go and go for 5 and 6 hours. So make sure, things are in place. And we definitely want to stick to the deadlines, right? So that's our way of engaging. And at then reporting is very important. At every night, my team or me make sure that, there is a checklist of each and every, clientele or the startups which I've invested. We basically make sure that this checklist are getting over and they report in the WhatsApp group. So we have created a system around this, but This is how we make sure that we use this sales model and sales funnel. But yeah, I mean,
Interesting.
yeah, so online business is definitely very different the way offline works, and both have different pros and cons.
Yeah.
Going back to the question of entrepreneurship, what do you think that Gen Z, right? When we talk about Gen Z and Gen Alpha, people who are actually not going for jobs anymore, they are actually pursuing entrepreneurship often, right?
Yeah.
So how we as now terming as millennials or Gen X are going to be one step ahead of the new generation, because you really need to make sure that you are updated with latest technology, latest knowledge, latest expertise. So how do you do your learning process?
I think I keep reading about new things, and just reading doesn't help. There has to be small changes in your business process also, because a very big disruption can happen when you are not ready for that level. So you have to have those small baby steps in place when something like AI comes in.
Right.
So if your processes are only not ready for doing something for AI, then it will never be it will never help you. So I always say कि जो हम लोग पढ़ रहे हैं, जो हम लोग सुन रहे हैं, I keep going to a lot of seminars. I visited the GFF or many other organizations, exhibitions, and I learn about those things, and I kind of make sure that those things are implemented in the business.
Now you're almost launched your IPO, right? So I just want to ask you, what is the way ahead for you personally, not as a company, because sometimes you take it very casually, you're very now comfort zone. But I just want to ask you, like, because I see the hunger in you.
Yes.
So what is your way ahead?
I think personally, responsibilities will add.
Yeah.
This is a very big responsibility and a very big thing, that a momentous thing for the company, that we are getting into public listing. A lot of capital is coming into the company, and there will be a lot of work that will go into, and I think I'm very excited. I know there is a lot of work that is going to come in, and we are ready to expand this to the next level.
Amazing. So, Monil, very important question for all the entrepreneurs. And when I was putting this on Instagram that I'm calling somebody as a great entrepreneur, right? I don't know why did I recollect you, but most important question is, what are the fears, right, when you take entrepreneurship? Because we are dealing with entrepreneurs day in and out.
Yes.
So I just want to know, why are people scared to also take entrepreneurship? So there are a set of people who are now obviously pro entrepreneurship, but there are people who are not taking entrepreneurship. So what are the points according to you, like they're not taking entrepreneurship?
I think people are scared to fail. That is like the biggest point, I think, in this. People are not ready to stop, they are ready to give away their stable jobs or whatever they are doing in terms of jobs, and they don't want any instability or any financial pains in their life. And I think that is one of the major fears in their life. Plus, people don't surround themselves with the right people, and there is a lack of support. I think people think कि मेरे पीछे कोई नहीं है, अगर मैं ये कोई नई चीज भी करना चाहूँगा तो कौन मुझे सपोर्ट करेगा, तो वो एक कॉन्फिडेंस जो नहीं आता है लोगों में. I think that is one of the reasons they fear कि अभी कोई मेरा खुद का बिजनेस नहीं कर रहा है.
Okay. So according to me, I believe, I'll tell you, like, there are so many entrepreneurs who comes to me, right? These are definitely the two major points at the emotional aspect.
Yes.
But I mean, practically, सबसे पहले question आता है, हमारे पास capital access नहीं, right? We don't have access to the capital, and 90% of people think that if you don't have capital, you cannot make business, right? That's one of the biggest problem. Second is like, because we have spent it so much in our education, we want to basically have a very comfortable life, and now recover everything, and then we will go for entrepreneurship. But they fail to see that entrepreneurship is not like tomorrow तुमने business किया or you are up, right? It takes 5 years, 6 years patience, and
patience,
right? So, coming back to the capital point, right? Because Manba is in business loans also.
Yes.
So let's go very industry specific because you would be knowing these numbers very well, right?
Yeah.
According to you, let's think from your portfolio, right? In business portfolio, like how many people are taking business loan who are coming with a, background of business and background of job?
Okay. In terms of Manba, if we speak, 40% are self-employed and 60% are salaried people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 60% of the salaried people are actually taking a business loan?
No, that's the mix of the customer.
Okay.
And 40% self-employed people are taking business loans.
Oh, wow. Amazing. So now when you talk about this 40% who are taking business loan, right? What are the various things you guys check, right, before applying business loan? Because I know for a fact there are many mistakes an entrepreneur makes while applying to a business loan.
Yes.
Right. So, and there are many assumptions around. So I want to just make sure that you clarify everything. And if I want to apply for a business loan today, I came to you. How? What is the process? When the process starts and when the process ends?
I think first of all, the first and the most important thing is the credit history. So we take a civil check, and for this, a lot of people don't actually give this equal weightage, and people kind of default on smaller loans and then miss out on bigger opportunities.
Right.
You miss out on a 5,000 rupee loan, और आगे आपको 5 लाख का लोन नहीं मिलेगा.
Okay.
So you always have to make sure that your CIBIL score is up to date. Documentation mein, you have to present a few specific business related documents in terms of Udyam Aadhaar cards or any balance, any bank balance that is needed. So all those things, people don't know that you have to maintain a bank balance of this much, you have to submit a business report, you have to tell the financer why you need these funds and how much is the rate of interest. All these things are not known to the customer and they just come and it's a mistake for them.
Wow. Okay, so I'll just tell you, like, there are so many entrepreneurs who came to me for, let's say, because VC funding is very different, right? So my first question again, do you think that business can only be done on equity structure or debt is also fine? Like, how does that work? Like,
no, I think debt is equally important and it's actually easier to get debt than to get equity.
Okay.
In terms of a loan from Manba, if you have all the documentation in place and your CIBIL score is okay, and we do a bank statement analysis, so we use Porpheus where we do like an overall analysis of how much money and what other transactions the business is into, and we get a loan approval in a day, and in 3 days you have the money in your account.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Within the 3 days.
Yes.
Amazing. So, why do you think that people go for equity more and not for debt when they start their entrepreneurship journey?
I think in the start you need to put some money in the business, and most of them don't have that kind of capital in their backing, so they have to raise funds. That is one of the main reasons.
No, but let's say an alternative, right? See, today I'll tell you very clearly. I'll give you an example. I wanted a new office, right? I was obviously exploring options. I don't have capital. Let's say take that, right? Hypothetically. One of my friends, he basically offered me, let's say, a debt. Okay. We took the debt. Eventually, I was able to pay it off because I was very sure about my business. When we talk about people who are taking loans from Manba, right? What is the ratio of the people who are actually paying it back?
Most of them.
Most of
Yes.
them. So
it's more than 99%.
As simple as that, that when you have a great history in your CIBIL or paying loans, you easily get the loan access and you are easily.
All your future loans are also secured.
Wow.
Once you repay the loans, all your future bigger loans that you want to pursue.
I'll give you an example. So I have an entrepreneur. We basically were exploring in the VC table and we actually talked in that sense only that, hey, you know what, not if you don't have capital to invest in the business and if you personally don't invest in the business, right? First of all, you're not serious. I'll be very controversial here, but I'll be very straightforward. If you yourself don't put the capital and you just think that hey, you'll raise the capital and we'll run the business, that's not how it works. If you don't invest yourself, second, if you really want to raise, you should know like why you're raising and what equity or what debt.
Yes.
And where are you going to spend. If when you do the cost benefit analysis, if the raising amount for first 20-30 lakhs, if the amount is going to be like that only, I would personally tell the entrepreneur to go for debt. As an equity. Because equity is going to be expensive.
You shouldn't dilute your percentages at this small level.
Exactly.
You should save it for a bigger raise.
Right. So I also advise the same thing that hey, it's only a matter of this thing, and maybe it gives you that working capital.
Yes.
And you can start the business, you generate revenue, and then raise the capital. That's a normal advice.
Plus, our business loans are even collateral free, so you don't even have to get some collateral.
Wow. Okay. So tell me about this. So let's say I want to take 20 lakhs from you, right? From Manba Finance.
So our loans start from 75,000 go up to 10 lakh rupees.
Okay.
And it's all collateral free, unsecured business, unsecured loan.
Okay.
And we do it around 20. We start at 21%, and it goes around as per customer, as per credit history.
Okay.
And they need a proper plan of why you want this fund and where will you use this fund. And we also check that if he has a good credit history of maybe 2 to 3 loans minimum, then we do a bank statement analysis where we check how many payments come to his account every month. We do like a holistic calculation if he is able to repay that, is able to earn that much money to repay, plus expand his business. So that is how.
So, loan is actually accessible and is easily available.
Yes.
Okay, great. That's a great heads up to all the entrepreneurs there. Guys, if it's not necessary that you always, at the initial time, just shell out your equity, that hey, you come in my business equity, hey, you come in my business equity. Make sure you have the right partners with you, right co-founders with you, right team with you. Don't shell out your equity so easily. Go for an option of debt. And if such, if you go to such organizations where they give you a loan at one button, one day, why not explore that option? So coming back to this, let's talk about some, in the industry only, right? I want to understand from you, how many people are actually going for, two-wheelers loan, right? So today when you compare.
So, in terms of finance ratio of any dealership, it ranges from around 55 to 60%.
Okay.
So if they sell 100 vehicles, 55 around 5.
So what is the market size of the whole loan in two-wheelers?
I think more than 1 crore units per year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the scope.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's around 1 lakh crore.
Okay.
Only two-wheeler.
Got it. And you also provide in three-wheelers, right?
Yes. So we do two-wheelers, we do used two-wheelers where we have partnered with organized players, organized dealers who only do resale vehicles, not new vehicles.
So this brings me to a point, like how to become a category champion. Because I believe Manba was very first, they took the advantage of first movers for three-wheelers, two-wheelers, and they were very visionary ahead. Yes. I think from 10 years back, they have started giving this, right?
So we started in 2009.
Okay.
We started doing two-wheelers and we understood that the dealer and the customer have pain points in terms of payments and approvals.
Right.
So we worked really hard on how we can solve this problem. We came up with STP BRE. It's like a straight-through process of business rule engine. Where we've put 7-8 parameters regarding the customer and we give like 1 minute approvals. So 60% of all our loans are in 1 minute.
Okay.
That really gave us a lot of edge in terms of competition. Other things were we streamlined all the disbursement processes. So after you get an approval, there's a lot of paperwork that goes into completing the loan.
Right.
So we have made it all scan-based or digital. It's all paperless. You don't have to do anything. It can be done in the same day. So all those things really helped us in getting that edge over any other financer.
Wow.
And getting traction in newer areas.
Okay.
Not just in our own area where we've had 15 years plus experience.
Okay, now when you have so many numbers, guys, I'm going to reveal some top secrets.
Yeah.
So give me some idea, like what are the number of vehicle or manufacturers, right? So let's start with two-wheelers.
Yeah.
Because my biggest concern or question is Ola, right? Ola making the big thing in the market.
Yeah.
What is the ratio between Ola Electric and ICE, right?
Yeah. So if I speak about the IC engines and the EV engines, so the breakup at the moment in terms of Vahan data is, I think, 92 and 8.
Okay.
So 8% is EV vehicles,
Okay.
all put together, all other brands, and not just Ola, all other brands. Ola being the top performer in the EV market. In terms of the two-wheeler IC engine, Hero is the topmost with, I think, 35% market share.
Oh.
Hero, Honda, and Bajaj, TVS, all of them.
Okay. So, and what about three-wheelers?
In three-wheelers, we have Bajaj, who is doing like this.
I think they're the mostly. Yeah.
It's like a monopoly.
Yeah.
So I think 73% of all three-wheelers sold in India are Bajaj.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Bajaj, and then there is Piaggio, Mahindra, Atul Auto, and there are a lot of local players. In the EV industry, more than 400 OEMs have actually empaneled in this. They have a organization for EV three-wheelers.
Okay. Can you just name that organization?
I don't recollect
Okay.
it.
So now going back, so when you talk about, so I really want to go in depth of EV now.
Yes.
You said the ratio is 9 to 8, right?
So I think last year it was only 4.5%.
Oh.
So 4.5 से 8 हो गया of the total industry, which is a very big step that they are getting into. I think there are 2-3 things that happened in the last 18-19 months. So one of the biggest players in the IC engine market, Hero, TVS and Bajaj, all three got their own EV vehicles.
Okay.
So IQ from TVS, Bajaj Chetak and Hero Vida came in. उससे एक बहुत बड़ा मोमेंटम आया है इनका ईवी इंडस्ट्री. ओला ने एक बहुत बड़ा ग्रोथ किया in the last 2 years, and Ather, which is the next competitor for Ola, Ather, Ampere, Bigos, all those players kept on increasing their reach. But ये जो major players थे उनके total networks 3,500 sales network points in India.
Okay.
3,500 showrooms है where EV vehicles are sold.
Got it.
तो वो reach बढ़ने से I think numbers बढ़े.
So my question, see, 4 to 8% is a great jump.
Yes.
Coming back to EVs, right? My question, have you ride Ola by any chance?
No.
Okay, but have you ride any EV vehicle by now?
Yeah, I've had a chance to.
Okay, so my question to you, do you think EV will survive?
I think yes, they will coexist.
They will coexist.
Yes.
Okay.
It will not only be EV, it will not only be IC.
Okay.
Because India is a very different kind of market. You cannot do everything at once. But eventually, we've kept reading a lot of reports, and they are saying by 2030, around 35% of all the two-wheelers will be EV. Yeah. Because अभी एक resale value भी उसका generate होगा.
Right.
अभी तक resale market EV का इतना बना ही नहीं.
Right. That's an opportunity, guys.
That is something that people are getting into.
Right.
There are startups that are coming into resale of EV vehicles.
Yeah.
And plus battery cost to it, which is 40% of the total EV cost.
Right.
It keeps decreasing every year. There are a lot of things that are happening in this battery industry, and I think that cost will go down. So
how do we solve the charging problem and the battery problem? That's the major two concerns of EV right now, right?
Yes.
And once we solve this, I believe that we will have a better push in the EV. But I'll give you another factor, because when we were doing EV analysis, currently B2B market, right, in EV is growing, whereas the B2C market is actually declining.
Yeah.
So and the major two problems were the battery, because it is very expensive. Battery replacement, and second is your charging station.
Yes.
So How are things going to solve that?
Actually, the first movers जो थे EV में, they've already taken the vehicle and there are a few feedbacks that they gave. Abhi OEMs are working on them, and I think eventually with the battery cost decreasing, there are a lot of big players from the Tatas to the Reliances of the world are getting into the battery business, and this will really disrupt the whole battery business of the world once Reliance and Tata get into things. And charging infrastructure, yes, it is growing, but it is not growing at a very fast pace.
Got it.
And I think all the HP and all the other petroleum.
I think Geo has to enter.
Yes. So everyone, actually not one person can do it.
Okay.
It's so big that and it's so important that India gets into the charging infrastructure, because if it doesn't, then there are a lot of investments, a lot of companies have done in the EV, and everything will fail.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So like all the Reliances and all the big companies have to get into the charging infrastructure.
Wow, amazing. So I want to know from you, like how Manba is involved in the EV sector, and so my question is, second hand EV गाड़ी को लेता है?
अभी I think negligible है. Second hand EV गाड़ी is not something I have heard, and अभी तक we have not got into that.
Yeah.
But I think that will be something that is coming in the next 2 years.
Okay.
In terms of EV, हम लोग we are incentivizing our dealers to push EV.
Okay.
हम लोग ने एक उसके लिए differential rate रखा है.
Wow.
Out of the overall portfolio of EV, we have 1% and lesser NPAs in the EV portfolio. So we are finding
high ticket.
Not just high ticket, but I think the first movers are the good customers, and I think the customer quality at the moment in EV is very good.
Right.
And we are finding one of the best customers in the EVs. And so rates हम लोग ने उसमें कम रखे to support the EV push.
Wow. Amazing.
And in three-wheelers,
so is there any benefit from government in the loan segment for EV?
Not in the loan segment, but there was a FAME subsidy that came in, which was supporting every EV two-wheeler that was sold in India.
Okay.
FAME 1 came, then FAME 2 are, and abhi PMI drives करके there is one more which is going to impact, I think, 4 to 5 lakh two-wheelers. I think more than that.
Which is your favorite EV manufacturer or car?
I think in two-wheelers, in terms of looks and the overall fundamentals, Ather is my favorite.
Ather is your favorite. Okay, and car segment?
Car, Tata is doing a very good job.
Okay, great. So we are going for a drive. So great. Okay, cool. So it's a great numbers, and it's really value add for all the entrepreneurs who are actually going to make big in EV.
Yes.
I want to give you some pull points. So there are many, there's an idea, right, which is actually booming in the EV segment. That is B2B, which so people who are like Zepto, Swiggy, Zomato, they also require their two-wheelers and the bikers to deliver the goods. So EV is entering there, and this is where EV is growing the maximum. And I have seen maximum startups approaching me for that investment, and people are really cracking the investment fast. It's a bigger market. If you really know the EV segment is going to boom, and if you really believe that EV is going to boom, I think this is the segment where you can start with some great idea. There's fleet management, there is 3PL logistics, there are so many things in this segment. Definitely explore. And now AI and IoT topping up. My next question is to you. Do you believe in AI? And do you believe in IoT? Do you believe in blockchain? These are the three technologies which are going to rule the world tomorrow. And if you believe, how are you going to integrate into your systems?
So, in terms of AI, I think first, as I said earlier also, that we kept on increasing and doing the small baby steps in terms of technology. We had an opportunity where we could implement an AI software for nudging our customers who pay early. So this really improved our productivity, and we are kind of having the same manpower, but touching more customers.
Okay.
So that is one area where we've identified in terms of collections, we have identified that AI can work really well. In terms of data analysis, in terms of Power BI and all those reportings, and in terms of identifying what will be the fraud or what will be the next big thing in terms of what is the pain point or what. To identify those things, I think AI can really help.
Right.
IoT, so we are working on battery company. We are working with a battery company, so we are leasing a lot of three-wheelers and a lot of two-wheelers to a fleet manager, fleet owner.
Right.
And they use an IoT device which tracks where the person is and how many kilometers he has driven and why is he not moving since the last few hours, and all those things I think really help in fleet management. So IoT in fleet management go very, and plus it also tells you why the battery is not working properly, battery health क्या है, and आपने उसको overuse कर दिया, overcharge कर दिया, that is why the health of battery is going down. So all those things in EV, IoT is going to work very well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, and blockchain are using, because I am very sure you're doing so many transactions during your loan collection and everything.
At the moment, we have not used blockchain.
Blockchain, right? So,
but in the future, it is will be one of the projects that we will commission.
Amazing. It's been like a 6 years tenure in entrepreneurship, right? There are many times that you feel that I want to quit. And there are many times that you really don't know when to exit. As an entrepreneur personally, right, there are so many entrepreneurs came to me saying that we are best in the product, we are best in this, we are best in that. But eventually after 3 years they quit or 2 years they quit. And they really don't know when to quit. I want to personally ask you, do you really know when to quit or there is something else? The solution is very different.
I don't think in business you can quit. There is pivot, and in Manba we had an experience where we were only focusing on two-wheeler. We were obsessed with two-wheeler and we only did everything related to two-wheeler. And there was a sectoral risk. And our branches didn't get leveraged as it should have been. And what we did was we added more products, more layers to it. We added small business loan, used car loan, three-wheeler loan in this whole journey. And I think we did a change from that.
Okay, so it's always pivoting is a better option than quitting.
Yes.
Amazing. So there are so many entrepreneurs who always say that, my product is the best. It's one of the best product which I'm giving you.
Yes.
They are so obsessed that 6-7 years they stay in that product, and eventually they fail. But they don't understand that it's not because of the product; it's because you don't know how to sell.
Yeah.
That is also one of the chapters. Right? So that's one chapter. Second is you really need to pivot. If the industry is gone and saturated, you need to pivot. And I tell you we are building an application where you basically scan the business card and the automation comes in.
Yes.
We know for a fact that tomorrow Apple launches an iOS update or Android update. You basically talk on the call, it will get an MOM and it will basically go on WhatsApp. So this basically, this can happen, and we really need to pivot fast. We have to move fast. This is a dynamic world. So speed and excellence is what we have to chase. This is the chapter which I want to learn from your industry, that what will be the next few things you see that if maybe in loan industry, maybe as Manba Finance, you might have to pivot.
In terms of pivoting, I would say in terms of upgrading your whole systems, we used to do like 60 signs in the agreement, and it was a very difficult process. We automated the whole process by getting an e-sign, and the agreement gets Aadhaar updated in like a minute. So all those problems need to be set, and we have to take new solutions, and we need to work on newer problems and newer solutions for it.
Right. So this brings to me a point: automate, eliminate, delegate. Yes. There's a system which now we are following in our organization. Yes. AED. Automate, eliminate, delegate. automate all the repeating tasks, eliminate all the toxic tasks, and delegate all. So there is a chart which is known as important and urgency. So if the task is important and urgent, that is your priority. If the task is not important but urgent, then that becomes your second priority. And if the task is, not important but not urgent, then that's your third. And fourth is the fourth. So this brings to a automate, eliminate, and delegate system. I personally want to hear a personal story from you into Manba Finance, like how automate, eliminate, and delegate has made you successful.
I think in terms of automating, we used to do credit approvals and all types of credit decisioning in a very manual way. But when we got the STP BRE matrix that I was talking about earlier, that actually was one of the game changers in our strategies in terms of business. Every dealer that we went to was really impressed with automating the whole credit decisioning part. One more thing that we automated recently was we had 400 plus callers who do collections and who nudge the customer, but we couldn't monitor them properly. So we made like an automated dialer system where we track how many minutes the caller talks and when is the break time and what is the most preferred time to call the customer, all those kind of things. In terms of eliminating, I think there were a lot of small softwares that we had taken to kind of be upgraded and just add on to our bouquet of things, but it didn't make sense, and we eliminated those to kind of have lesser problems. Delegation for us, as per sales, we have a very big hierarchy. We have executives, TLs and RMs, ASMs and ZSMs. So there is a very big delegation channel that we go through. And this actually helps us in having a very good experience for the dealer, for the customer, and there is a good training that keeps on ongoing in all these layers. This is what we do at Manba.
Wow, amazing. But don't you believe that flat hierarchy is actually going to be faster?
No, I think for our kind of business, this is required because there are a lot of elements that are third party, and not everyone is used to such problems or problem solving. Right. So we need different kind of mindsets for different kind of things.
Yeah. So now coming to the conclusion of the podcast, this is a new segment which I have introduced in my podcast. Like whoever comes as a guest, right?
Yes.
We basically understand their bottlenecks, and definitely it's not that in the podcast only we talk apart from podcast also.
Yes.
So you talked about, and this is what you talked about. You talked about the automations of caller IDs, right? Automation of calls.
Yes.
Me giving a personal case study, because being AI, I really want to give you a solution where you can do a persuasive sale, right? So this is a real application which is there in the market, where imagine all your salespeople are actually doing consultative sale. This is no more needed. There is a chat bot, definitely doing the persuasive sale, and eventually, on the collection part or on the attracting part, you have that persuasive sale where they understand the customer requirements so much, and it is at a second of time. Yeah. So this is where AI has to be leveraged.
Yes.
So this is one of the solutions which I would definitely want Manba Finance to work on.
Yes.
And
I am open to having an exploration on this.
Great, amazing. So thank you so much, Monil, and all the best for your IPO.
Yes.
We know for a fact that it's going to kill in the market, and thank you for doing this, and thank you the whole team for supporting us.
Thank you, Yash. Thank you.
Thank you so much to watch this podcast and staying till last, because I'm very sure Monil has given such a great inputs that you go back and explore opportunities in the EV segment, in the loan and insurance segment, and also make sure as an entrepreneur you take all the notes and make sure you implement his learnings in your real life. Also guys, thank you so much to give me such love that we are growing on all our platforms. Maybe it's YouTube, Instagram or Spotify. We are seeing people listening to a podcast and you're impacting their lives. It has given me a positive energy to do such great impactful work and making sure that I transform good founders to great. See you in the next episode.